Emma Turner woke with a jolt. A strange disquiet rippled through her. The sun, slanting through her blinds, felt the same. The chirping birds outside her window sounded the same. Even the musty scent of old books from downstairs felt the same. But something was off. An unsettling familiarity clung to her like a shroud. She shook it off, blaming it on a bad dream.
It was Tuesday, just another day in the sleepy town of Willow Creek. Nothing exciting ever happened here.
She pulled on her favorite jeans and a faded band t-shirt. As she headed downstairs, the feeling intensified.
Morning, sleepyhead.
Her mom's cheerful voice, her dad's muffled cough from behind his newspaper, the scent of burnt toast wafting from the kitchen. It was all too familiar. It was as if she were reliving yesterday. The disquiet morphed into a chilling thought.
What if I was?
She pushed the thought away, joining her parents for breakfast. The radio droned on about a local fair, a fair that she could have sworn had already happened. The unease twisted into a knot of dread in her stomach. Something was deeply, terribly wrong. At school, the feeling intensified. Liam, her best friend, greeted her with his usual bad joke.
Hey, did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He'll stop at nothing to avoid them.
Sophia, her other best friend, was engrossed in the same novel. Even the annoying buzz of the fluorescent lights in the hallway felt like a replay. Emma couldn't shake the growing certainty. This day was repeating. She confided in Liam and Sophia. At first, they laughed it off. But as the day unfolded, with eerie precision, the same pop quiz in history, the same spilled juice in the cafeteria, the same argument between their English teacher and the principal, their amusement faded into disbelief.
This is insane. It's like we're trapped in some twisted movie.
Sophia, usually the voice of reason, was at a loss for words.
But how is this even possible?
She breathed, her hand clutching Emma's. They decided to test their theory. The next day, they deliberately changed their routines, doing things they would never normally do. But their efforts were futile. Wednesday dawned with the same unsettling familiarity, the same events unfolding like a broken record. They were trapped. Determined to break free, they delved into the town's history. Willow Creek, they discovered, harbored a dark secret. An abandoned asylum, perched atop a windswept hill overlooking the town, cast a long shadow over their lives. Locals whispered of unspeakable horrors that took place within its crumbling walls. Legend had it that the asylum was shut down after a fire that claimed the lives of many patients and staff. Some whispered that the fire was no accident, but an act of desperation, a way to contain an evil that had taken root within the asylum.
Do you think the asylum has something to do with this loop?
Sophia asked, her voice barely a whisper. Liam shivered, pulling his jacket tighter around himself.
It's the only lead we have,
he admitted, his gaze drawn to the looming silhouette of the asylum in the distance. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, they decided to investigate. As they approached the asylum, a palpable sense of dread washed over them. The air grew heavy, thick with the weight of unseen eyes and unheard whispers. The once grand building now stood decrepit and menacing, its windows like empty sockets staring back at them. If you want to uncover more of Willow Creek's dark secrets, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video.
This place, it's filled with pain. The asylum's interior was a testament to decay and despair. Dust-laden cobwebs clung to every surface, and the musty air was thick with the stench of mildew and decay. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own footsteps echoing through the long, empty corridors. As they ventured deeper into the asylum's bowels, they stumbled upon old patient files, medical records detailing disturbing experiments and treatments. The asylum, they realized, was a place of unimaginable suffering. The more they uncovered, the more convinced they became that the loop was connected to the asylum's dark history. The fire, it wasn't an accident. Something was responsible, Emma whispered, her voice trembling. They found a hidden room, its walls covered in strange symbols and diagrams. In the center of the room lay a heavy, iron-wrought key. As soon as Emma touched it, visions flooded her mind. Flashes of a terrifying fire, of patients screaming, of a dark entity feeding off their terror.
The weight of their discovery settled upon them. The loop wasn't just a strange phenomenon, it was a consequence, a manifestation of the asylum's tormented past, and they were trapped within it. The loop's relentless cycle began to take its toll on the friends. The initial thrill of the unknown gave way to a gnawing sense of hopelessness. The weight of their predicament pressed down on them, revealing their deepest fears and secrets.
It's my fault.
Liam, usually the joker of the group, retreated into himself. The loop had resurrected a past he desperately wanted to forget, a drunken car accident that had left his older brother severely injured. The guilt and regret haunted him, amplified by the loop's cruel repetition.
It should have been me, not him.
Emma and Sophia tried to comfort him, but the loop had a way of twisting even the most well-intentioned words. Liam was trapped in his own personal hell, unable to escape the consequences of his past actions. Sophia, the ever-organized and in-control one, found her carefully constructed world crumbling around her. The loop exposed her deepest fear, the fear of being ordinary, of not living up to the expectations she had set for herself. Each repeating day became a painful reminder of her perceived failures. The scholarship she desperately needed seemed further away. Her dreams felt like they were slipping through her fingers.
I'm not good enough.
Tears streamed down her face as she confessed.
I'm never going to be good enough.
The loop, it seemed, had a way of magnifying their insecurities, turning their deepest fears into their harshest realities. Even Jake, the new kid in town who had joined their group just before the loop began, wasn't immune. He carried a secret, a burden that the loop threatened to expose. He had run away from home, fleeing from an abusive father. The loop's repetition brought back the fear, the helplessness, the desire to disappear.
I can't go back there. I'd rather be stuck here forever.
His fear was palpable, a constant reminder that the loop wasn't just a temporal anomaly. It was a prison of their own making, fueled by their deepest fears and regrets. As the days bled into weeks, Emma realized they weren't alone in their struggle. The townspeople, they discovered, were also affected by the loop. Their lives, however, were frozen in a horrifying tableau of their worst transgressions. The baker was forever caught stealing from the till, the sheriff perpetually accepting a bribe, the teacher eternally silencing a student's voice.
They're trapped too, trapped by their own guilt and shame.
She understood then. The loop wasn't just about the asylum, it was about the town, about the darkness that festered beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic lives. The asylum was merely a conduit, a focal point for the collective guilt and secrets that bound them all. They returned to the asylum, the iron key heavy in Emma's hand. It led them to a hidden chamber beneath the building, a chamber pulsating with a dark, malevolent energy. There, chained to the wall, they found the source of the loop, a figure consumed by shadows, its eyes burning with an unholy light. The figure spoke, its voice a raspy whisper that seemed to slither into their minds. It fed on their fear, their guilt, their secrets. It reveled in their despair, their inability to forgive themselves and others. It was a manifestation of their collective darkness, a twisted reflection of their own flawed humanity.
You are bound to this place, bound by your sins, your regrets, your inability to atone.
Emma realized the truth in its words. The loop wasn't a punishment inflicted upon them. It was a prison of their own creation. They were trapped not by some external force, but by their own unwillingness to confront their demons, to forgive themselves and each other. To break the loop, they had to confront not only the entity, but also the darkness within themselves and their community. They had to acknowledge their flaws, their mistakes, and seek redemption. One by one, they confronted the townspeople, forcing them to face their reflections in the loop. It was a painful, agonizing process, but slowly cracks began to appear in the cycle.
The baker confessed his theft, the sheriff admitted his corruption, the teacher apologized for his silence.
With each act of contrition, the entity weakened, its power diminishing as the townspeople confronted their pasts. The loop began to falter, the repetitions becoming less frequent, the air less heavy. Finally, they returned to the asylum, to the heart of the loop. The entity, weakened but still defiant, made one last attempt to break their spirits. But they were no longer afraid. They had faced their demons, both internal and external, and emerged stronger. With a shared act of forgiveness and acceptance, they severed the entity's hold on them. The loop shattered, the asylum fell silent, and a new dawn broke over Willow Creek. The town was forever changed. The scars of the past remained, but they were now badges of courage, reminders of their shared struggle and their collective redemption.
We faced the darkness and emerged into the light, forever bound by our experience, forever grateful for the second chance we had been given.